Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Naomi and today I want to show you my absolute all-time favorite restorative yoga pose. Now this is also a really fantastic way to take Shavasana if you're uncomfortable lying on your back or if you are pregnant. And when I say if you're pregnant, like really if you are in your second or third trimester and lying on your back is starting to get a little bit less comfortable. So of course it's fantastic at any stage of your pregnancy if you're pregnant, but really second and third is sort of where it's at for this particular restorative. But you will need a few props because it's a restorative pose, and I'm going to show you two different ways to do it so that you can use whatever you happen to have lying around at home or whatever you happen to have if you are at a yoga studio and you're doing Shavasana. So I have two blocks, I have a blanket, I have a Peppa the Pig pillow from my daughter's bed, and I have a yoga bolster. You can also use towels, you can use books, you can use all kinds of other things, but this is what I'm going to use for now, and I'll show you. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the most, I think, familiar way to do it. So you would lay a bolster sort of diagonal to your mat, and you could take a blanket just like this one, and fold it in half. Okay, and I'm going to get the other props out of the way. Okay, now you're going to place the block, again, sort of on the diagonal, or the blanket rather, on the diagonal up at the top of your mat, so that these two, like if you could line them up, they would almost kind of form a corner. It's not that important, but that's sort of the general idea. Okay, so then you're going to lie on your side. I'm on my left side. You can lie on your right side. Really, it actually doesn't matter which side you lie on. But I'm going to lie on my left side, and then I take the blanket, and I'm going to slide it over my forearm, and then place my head on the blanket. I'm going to take the bolster in and bring the bolster underneath my right thigh. My left leg extends straight out. And I can place my right hand up on the blanket. I can place it on the bolster if I want a little bit more bolster love. I can bring the bolster a little bit higher up and drape my arm over the bolster, which I sometimes like to do. So long as my whole leg is supported, you don't really want your leg hanging off necessarily. It feels kind of good to have the whole leg supported. And there you are, right? I kind of don't want to get back up, actually. This is just a really simple, really sweet way to take a restorative pose, okay? So this is one way. So you've got the blanket over your arm, under your head, and your arm will stretch either straight out, like sort of not quite straight up, sort of on the diagonal, okay? Your right leg bent, draped over the bolster, left leg out if you're on your left side, okay? So that's one way. Now, if you don't have a bolster or you're at a studio that doesn't have a bolster, but it does have blocks, you can use blocks instead. And again, I like to place the blocks so that they're a little bit on the diagonal, mostly so that it can best support my leg. And you can use the blanket here too. There are two ways to use it. I'm going to show you both ways. Again, this is the familiar way that I just did. The blanket goes over my forearm. I like to have my palm face up. You can have it face down, totally up to you. Your leg is going to go with your knee bent on top of the two blocks. So you've got one knee on one block, and your foot, your ankle on the other. And you lie down. And you can place your hand on the block. You can cuddle around the blanket, whatever works for you. Okay, and I recommend too, if you're going to use a bolster, the bolster should go underneath your leg, not underneath your head. It's really not comfortable if it's underneath your head because your head gets really propped up. So this is just a really sweet place to be. But if it feels uncomfortable to have blocks on your leg, you can drape a blanket over it. And hey, this is where Peppa comes in. So if you don't have tons of props at home, you can, make do with what you have and use a pillow underneath your arm, underneath your head, because I mean, this is so good. It's super cozy. I mean, it's basically like sleeping, which is really what a restorative is supposed to be like, right? A restorative is supposed to be a place where you can just rest completely. So I can just hold on to this pillow and settle in. Like I literally could stay here for a really long time. You can also have your left knee bent. If you're lying on your left side, you can have your legs straight. It's really up to your comfort. I usually have my legs straight, but bent is also fine. So like I said, I could stay here for a while. Like I could just let the camera keep rolling and just be here. But I'm going to push back up and just say that restoratives, in my opinion, are actually a little bit better to do not with a video, mostly because you sort of want to do them in your own time, in your own timing. You have to give yourself a few minutes to just really settle into it. And restorative poses are really meant to last a long time. They're meant to help your body release and let go. So my recommendation for a restorative is to give yourself between 8 and 15 minutes. Oh yeah, 15 minutes. It's no joke, y'all. So those like little mini shavasanas that you get when you go to a yoga class that are like 3 minutes long, no, you need way longer. Okay, you need like a good, if you want a solid restorative, you need a good 8 to 15 minutes. Okay. And if you're really new to restoratives, I recommend starting on the, the lower end of the spectrum, right? Start closer to 8 minutes, maybe start with 5 or 6, and set up a timer, like make it easy for yourself. But restoratives are really meant to help your body release and relax and let go. And if you're uncomfortable in a restorative, you can't really let go. If you feel rushed during a restorative, like you're trying to do it all completely in the time that you're watching a video, it's not going to feel so good. But if you can, set yourself up and then set a timer and just let it run 8 to 15 minutes, then you're setting yourself up for something really sweet. So hopefully this has given you a really lovely restorative that you can add to your practice, that you can add whether you are doing a home practice and you want something to help you, rest and fall asleep before bed, or whether you're going to yoga classes and lying on your back doesn't feel comfortable and you just want something that feels really, really, really wonderful at the end of your practice, okay? So use the blocks, the blanket, the bolster, Peppa, whatever you have handy, but give yourself some very sweet rest. And let me know how it goes in the comments below. And as always, thank you for taking the time to practice with me. I look forward to getting back on the mat or, the pillow again with you really soon. Until then, bye.